Hey guys, haven't checked in for a while with any new videos. Thought I'd just do a quick combo review of some of my latest pickups from my local comic store here in Melbourne, Australia. As you can see over the weekend, I managed to grab the gold label Parallax Hal Jordan, the gold label Azrael in Batman armor, and the gold label Ocean Master. Now, I don't really know why any of these are gold label. Possibly Ocean Master, I can understand. There's a lot of reused parts with the Endless Winter Aquaman. The other two, pretty much new sculpts as far as I can tell. So perhaps it has something to do with being Walmart exclusives in the United States. But in any event, they are gold label. And here they are. They all look pretty cool. I was very excited to get all three of these. So yeah, I'll just show you the back of the box. There you have Parallax from Green Lantern, Emerald Knight, that beautiful artwork. Again, beautiful comic artwork of Azrael and Batman armor from Nightfall. Looks really great. And likewise for Ocean Master. I really love seeing the comic artwork on the back now. I think it's just so much nicer than the figure photography. So yeah, without any further ado, let's open these guys up and see how cool they really are when you open them. Okay, so here we have Parallax out of the box with all his accessories. I won't spend time talking about the display stand. It's the same as all the other DC Multiverse figures. He comes with, you can see, two sort of Green Lantern energy effects for his hands. He comes with a lantern, a Green Lantern. Now this is different from the lantern that comes with Kyle Rayner. It's a different mold, completely different, so that's kind of nice. Although I don't know that this actually makes sense for Parallax. Let me know in the comments if Parallax actually ever used a lantern like this, but anyway. And it comes with the collector's card with the cool artwork on the front. I'll flip it over for you if you want to have a read about Parallax and the story where he comes from. Basically, Hal Jordan's hometown is destroyed and it drives him mad. He absorbs all the energy of the central power battery at Oa, and he also absorbs Parallax and is driven insane, and he goes on a destructive spree and is a villain for quite some time. So here he is. Now, I don't have the original Hal Jordan figure that came with the Dawnbreaker 2-pack, so I can't give you a comparison there, but, you know, this is my first Hal Jordan, and I think he's amazing. I think it's a really awesome figure. The sculpt is great, the armor is great, it's quite faithful to the source material. He has these really, really cool translucent fists, which I just think are amazing. They let light in, so if you light him correctly, it looks like his fists are glowing with energy, which I think is awesome. You see it's got this head sculpt that's very detailed. I actually think it looks like Todd McFarlane, but anyway, it's a slightly older Hal Jordan, which I like. His hair is probably a little bit too dark. It's a bit closer to black than brown. And you'll see it's got a bit of the grey paint on the back. It should have grey sides, but like, you know, that's quibbling. You could always add it there if you want, if you're into customization. See, it's got amazing sculpt work in the legs, all that paneling. Not too much paint, like, you know, it's very modest in terms of the paint apps. But the sculpted detail is excellent, and the Green Lantern designs are sort of quite simplistic anyway, so this works really, really well. His cape is quite a flat texture. You know, some of the more recent McFarlane capes have had really beautiful like fabric texturing. This doesn't have it. I actually think this might be sort of a reuse or a modification of the Superman figure. I think the very first Superman figure, the Action Comics 1000, I think this might be his cape. I don't have that figure, but it looks very similar the way it flows out here. I think it might be just a reversed version of that Superman cape. Yeah, so articulation is as you would expect. He's got double jointed elbows. The only impediment are those shoulder pads. That's all that's going to keep you from getting him in really dynamic poses. Head has pretty good rotation. You can do the splits, double jointed knees, which are incredibly stiff. I mean, they'll probably need some softening up, but you know, he's got them. And he's got the ball joint ankles, the pivot, tilt, toe articulation. I mean, you've seen it all before. McFarlane are really improving. Ab crunch. It's quite good, you know. Yeah. Hip rotation. I mean, he's awesome. He's great. He moves. You can get him in pretty dynamic poses. A flight pose might be difficult since his head only goes up that far. But, you know, that's probably the only limitation that I can see with this guy. Otherwise, he's very, very cool. So that is Parallax. All right, next, I'm going to have a look at Azrael in his Batman armor from Batman Nightfall. Look, first impressions out of the box is he looks incredible, but slightly unfinished. There's a bit of paint lacking. His claws aren't silver, you know. This blue here is just like a little bit too light and it's a little bit too flat. It could use like a metallic sheen or something. But before I get ahead of myself, look, he doesn't come with any accessories. He just comes with a collector's card with that very cool art. You can kind of see how there's just a little bit of detail missing that would really make this pop. There's the back of the card. You see it's Jean-Paul Valley. If you're not familiar with the story, it's a classic, worth looking up, worth reading. So here he is. Let's take a look at the figure. Really great head sculpt. Those eyes are red. They look really menacing. Could pop a little bit more, I think. You can see he's got this gold paint under here, which looks really great. The flat grey plastic here, but with incredible texturing. Like I said, just missing a bit of silver on the claws, you know, missing a bit of the metallic sheen. You know, if you look at the Mafex equivalent, I mean, it's a much more expensive figure, but they nail that metallic sheen, and I just think it would look so much better. His cape is molded really nicely. I can't actually tell if I look at this whether this fold over here is an intentional part of the sculpt or it's just come warped in the packaging. I'm gonna have to dip that in hot water and actually see if it bounces back or whether it's sort of meant to be like that. His articulation is everything you'd expect. He's got the butterfly joints under here, double jointed elbows, which are extremely stiff, limited a little bit by the shoulder pauldrons, double jointed knees. The new McFarlane thighs, you can see they're now sculpted joints instead of the ball joints. They look way, way better. Very cool. Ab crunch, not a lot this way, nothing forward, a little bit back. It's very limited, very stiff, has good rotation. His head can go about that far and tilt up quite a lot. So no complaints there. The wrists are on a ball joint, I think. Yes, they're on a ball joint, but they're limited by these gauntlets a little bit in terms of what they can do. There's no gripping ability. He doesn't come with any accessories, but even if he did, he can't grip. His legs, they have these really cool spikes here and there made of a softer plastic. But, you know, I just think this area just looks a little bit plain. I don't know, like, I really like this. I like it a lot. But I feel like it could have been so much better with just a little bit more effort or money or budget. Yeah, I mean, obviously if you're a fan of the source material, it's a must get. Totally have to get it, especially if you're going to get the mega figure Bane. Yeah, must have. Really great. Could have been like top of the entire line with just a little bit more TLC or budget. Yeah, so that is Batman in his Azrael armor. Oh, I should say Azrael in his Batman armor. I haven't had coffee today, you can tell, but yeah. All right, so last and probably least is Ocean Master or Orm from Aquaman. You'll see that he comes with a display stand and a pretty cool, massive, thick, long trident, though I'll show you that in a minute. He also comes with a collector's card with that amazing artwork. There's the bio if you want to read about Orm. Look, I like Orm. He's not one of the classic sort of like most menacing villains, but he's like got a great design, and I've always really loved the sort of petty, jealous sibling archetype. You know, he's kind of like Aquaman's Loki, and I like that. Having a look at the figure himself, there are probably two things to mention right off the bat. It's really hard to get him to stand up because he comes out of the package bow-legged. That right leg of his is a bit like sort of buckling. He's posed in the blister pack like in a really weird pose. I think that's warped the plastic. Also, right off the bat, that wrist joint, ball joint, is way too loose. The slightest knock, well, now it's not doing it, but yeah, it kind of just can't quite support the weight of that trident unless you pose it just so. Maybe that's how I'll have to pose him in my display. But looking at the figure itself, anyone who owns the Aquaman Endless Winter figure will recognise all of this. It's exactly the same as Aquaman. The belt is exactly the same as Aquaman, but it has these added armour bits. The legs with the fins are exactly like Aquaman. So look, nothing new there. I think this is actually a really smart reuse of that mould, to be honest. It's got the cape. See, the cape has some nice sort of sculpted folds. Not much in the way of texture, though it is moulded in this sort of really nice purple plastic. Although, no, it's painted purple, but it's a beautiful colour purple. Looks really great. Obviously, what you're really getting here is the head sculpt for Ocean Master. I think that looks pretty good. The paint on the eyes is a little bit off, but nothing atrocious. And he has a really good expression, a really good angry, scornful expression. This is soft plastic, so it's not going to break, which is good. I think that looks awesome. And I'm a big fan of the sculpt in general. I think all that sort of scale texture looks great. I think he looks excellent. He's not a must-have, but like if you have any affection for the character like I do, yeah, he's a must-buy. Articulation, exactly the same as Aquaman Endless Winter. He's got the double-jointed knees, double-jointed elbows, the bicep cut. The head rotation is excellent. Yeah, excellent ab crunch that way. Not so much down, definitely up. Get him some really cool swimming poses if you have a flight stand. Wrists are on a ball joint. Yeah, you know what you're getting here. It's got the newer style ankle joints. Although this guy has a problem that, yeah, he won't stand because of that leg. Without a bit of futzing around, I'm going to have to dip him in some boiling water and see if I can get that leg to straighten out. But yeah, there's Ocean Master. Really like him. Really cool. He'll go great in my villain shelf. Glad to have got him for sure. So look, in conclusion, here are the three figures standing next to each other. You can see how they sort of compare in terms of height. Azrael is probably the tallest. The other two have had to spread their legs a little bit to get them to stand up, but they're fantastic figures. Recommend all three of them. I think McFarlane is absolutely killing it at the moment with the selection of characters and storylines that they draw from, like this early 90s stuff here, you know, with Parallax and Azrael. I think that's what everyone wants, you know. Ocean Master, you don't see him too often. He looks great. Yeah, not much to complain about. I mean, I've already gone to town about the lack of paint on Azrael and, you know, the wobbly joints and on Ocean Master, but these are nitpicks, you know, and if you really are that bothered by it, you can fix it, you can customize. I think for the price point, 35 Australian dollars, 20 US dollars, you know, this is amazing stuff. Yeah, can't wait to get Bane, can't wait to get Deathstroke. It's going to be an amazing few months. Recommend all three of these if you can find them. Good luck and see you next time.